Welcome to Activate Your Life. I am your host, Erin Esser, and I believe that life isn't a battleground. It's a playground of possibility, where self-sabotage is transmuted into self-mastery. On this show, I share tools such as human design, astrology, inner child, and shadow work that help you disrupt your unconscious programming so that you can begin to experience the life that you desire. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the subscribe button to receive valuable information each week that will change your life. Thank you for joining me and welcome to the show. This episode is brought to you by my course, Activate 2021. This is a 7-week masterclass that begins to disrupt your unconscious patterns so that you can start to show up for yourself in a confident and empowered way. For more information, go to erinesser.com/activation-masterclass. Again, that's erinesser.com/activation-masterclass. Are you ready to be the owner of your life? Then let's go. Hello. In this episode, I want to talk to you about using your emotions as a tool for awareness and consciousness versus being a tool. Do you ever have a time in your life, or times in your life, I'll make that plural, where you feel blown by the wind, right? And what I mean by that is you're in a situation with somebody and they do something, they say something, maybe they even look a certain way. And all of a sudden you're triggered, you're upset, you don't know why, but there's just something about this person that you can't stand. And so you go through your day just pissed off, trying to figure it out. Why did this person say this? We take it personally, right? And it consumes us. That, my friends, is you being a tool of your emotions rather than using your emotions as a tool. So why would we want to do this? I just went over an example that I'm sure we can all, to some degree, relate to. I know I can. But really, what is the benefit or the benefits of really digging into this? And on today's episode too, I'm going to give you 3 really, really simple ways that you can bring more awareness into your interactions so that you can learn more about yourself. You can, and why do we want to learn more about ourselves, right? Well, if you're on this road to mastering your mission, mastering who you are, developing the deep, connection with yourself and the people that you love and cherish the most, then this is important. This is critical. So the main benefits of this is, when we become, and start on this road and anywhere along this road. So say you've even been on this road for a long time, this doesn't stop. So I just really want to be clear. When we get on this road of self-discovery, there's not a finish line. It's like our soul is here to learn about him or herself or, itself. And it is this vast experiential plane. We never get to the end of our soul. Our soul is infinite. So the minute we step on this path, it's for eternity. So we never stop doing this. And that's beautiful. It's amazing when we really lean into ourselves in this way, when we really start to go, wow, like I want to use these, life as a tool for my own awareness, for my own consciousness, to develop this deep intimacy within myself so that I can be more of a master of my life. I can know what I'm here for, my purpose, and I can develop rich and intimate relationships with the people that I cherish and love the most in this lifetime. So, the benefits, like I was just saying, though, it's really the benefits of using our emotions as tools is that we ultimately start to feel more fulfilled in this journey. It benefits our relationships. It benefits so many things about ourselves, life starts to show up in a different way. We start to interact with life in a different way, more of a playground or, an experiment versus this thing that we are, being punished in most days. So why, if we don't do this, what could be, and some of the things that maybe you're experiencing right now. So take a look at your life right now. But are your relationships really as transparent and authentic and supportive and nurturing as you would like them to be? Number two, do you blame other people for your emotions? So does it impact your relationships? Does it even impact your just social life? Even not your close relationships, but maybe even just out and about. Does it affect your joy? Does it affect your level of fulfillment on a daily basis? Do you feel that you know, can go out and about and feel like stay in your lane, basically, like stay rooted and stay grounded in you no matter what happens? And maybe, there's some days I'm sure that you're able to do that, right? When you're in a good mood and the weather's right. And I'm talking about internal weather. But what happens on the days that maybe you feel a little bit more chaotic? What about the days that it just doesn't feel that life's really working in your favor? What about the days that you wake up and you kind of feel down and you look outside and it's kind of a dreary day? Maybe your kids are fighting if you have kids. Maybe you had a fight with your spouse or your partner. Maybe you don't have a spouse or a partner and that's getting you down. Who knows, right? Maybe maybe you're trying to make coffee and your coffee maker breaks. All those little things that happen in our day, right? To be the calm in the storm, to be our own calm, our own tree rooted in the midst of the storms of life requires us to use our emotions as tools. We have to be bigger than our emotions. We have to step aside and be the observer of what is happening within us so that we don't get hooked in to this wild, crazy ride of life that is there for our benefit. And if we're not aware of it, though, it will take us for a ride. And this is where anxiety comes in. This is where depression comes in. This is where the guilt and shame cycles of ourself comes in. So I'm going to just share with you 3 simple tools. So for this too, not necessarily for the podcast. I mean, if you want to, you can. It might help. But get a journal or a notebook because it's going to help you. And I'm going to invite you to, if you were to take this challenge on, you're going to need a notebook and a journal for every time you go outside of your house. Maybe even when you turn on the news, if you watch the news. I don't watch the news. So if you do watch the news, one little thing to this, so isn't what I want to go into today, but be careful. How are your moods? Like, how do they reflect what's on the news if you watch the news? How are your emotions? Pay attention to how you're being controlled through the media. Just a little thing. So we're going to go back to this though. So the first thing that you can do, number 1, to use your emotions as tools for awareness and for becoming more conscious and aware of yourself, is to pay attention to your triggers. So here's the thing. Triggers are being used right now as it's like kind of a buzzword, right? When I say triggers, I mean, pay attention to when you get upset, when you get triggered and your emotional state changes. So that's maybe a simpler way of putting it. Pay attention to when your emotional state changes. So if you're going to pay attention to how it changes, you should be aware then too of where it is before it changes. So pay attention to your emotional state. and then pay attention to what changes it. So the first thing is paying attention. We get too used to our routine and our emotions that we feel that are normal for us. So once you start to pay attention, you're going to start to see this pattern of emotions come up within you from the moment you even get up to the moment that you say something that you perceive to be negative happens to you. How do you respond to that? What's your emotional state to that? Pay attention. That's the first thing. Pay attention. Use your life as a playground. Use your life as you are a scientist in a lab and you're looking under the microscope at your life, at your emotions. So this is where you step away from yourself to observe yourself. Pay attention. So number 2, it's getting curious. So curiosity. So the minute you pay attention to your emotional state and how it changes, and when it changes, be curious and say, wow, I wonder why I'm reacting to this in this particular way. I wonder why I am reacting this way to this person or to this situation. So you're immediately getting curious about your response. This is generally where projection comes in for most people. So this is a choice point. The minute that you want to blame that person or that situation and take it outside of yourself and say, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you said this. I can't believe you looked at me like that. I can't believe that my boss or my work or my landlord or my whatever it is, right? I can't believe that they're doing this. The minute you do that, you become the tool of your emotions. Because this is where self-awareness comes in. You get curious and you say, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. I wonder why I'm reacting this way to this person and to this situation. And you step back and you just sit in wonder. This episode is brought to you by my course, Activate 2021 Masterclass, a 7-week masterclass that begins to disrupt your unconscious patterns so that you can start to show up for yourself in a confident and empowered way. For more information, go to erinesser.com/activation-masterclass. Again, that's erinesser.com/activation-masterclass. Back to the show. It's the energy of curiosity. I talk about this a lot with my clients. Bring in the energy of curiosity in your life. Whenever that, tinge of judgment wants to come in, of this is good or this is bad, or you are good and you are bad, and all of that, pause for a moment and get curious about it and bring it back to yourself, because it's not about that person or the situation. They're just the stimulus that's bringing this up within you. So get curious. That's the second one. So the first one, pay attention to your emotional state. Pay attention to your triggers. Pay attention to how your emotional state changes. So pay attention. Number 2 is be curious. And number 3, identify the emotions and the stimulus. So here's the thing. I'm going to actually back up really quick. So another thing you can do in step 2 is to lead into step 3. So when you're in the curiosity stage and you're saying to yourself, wow, I wonder why I'm reacting this way to this person or situation. The next thing you can ask yourself is, what does this say about me? What does this reveal about me? What is my reaction to this telling me about me? So then the third is identify the emotions and the stimulus. So this is where you're going to need a notebook and stuff. So you can just take notes of all this. When all of this happens, you're going to then go sit down or go to your car or whatever, wherever you're at. You're just going to jot down some notes like, wow, like, okay, I felt stressed out. I felt upset. I felt whatever those emotions are. So identify the emotions. And you may have to go back to the stimulus. So the stimulus is what that person said, what that person did. Maybe they looked at you a certain way, right? So you can say, when they said blank, fill in the blank, or when they said this in that tone, or when they looked at me the certain way, I felt blank. You put in your emotion. So identifying the emotions and the stimulus. So then you're putting this in the context. You're almost like, it's like a story, right? Again, you're in the playground of your life. And now you're creating the story. And then you are learning more about the character in this story, which is you. So when this person said, XYZ, fill that in, whatever is your situation, I felt rage. I felt irritated. I felt even joy. You can bring in happy things too. Gosh, I felt really seen and heard. I felt when this person smiled at me from across the room, ooh, my emotional state changed. I'm paying attention to this. I'm getting curious, like, wow, I wonder why I'm reacting this way. Wow, what does this say about myself? So when this person did this and they smiled at me from across the room, I felt seen. I felt attractive. I felt beautiful. I felt recognized. I felt acknowledged. So whatever situation you're in, you can put this formula in for it. So again, you're identifying the emotions and the stimulus. When this person said this to me in this tone and with the look in their eye, I felt shamed. I felt sad. I felt angry. I felt rejected. I felt helpless. I felt, whatever that is, right? So really you are getting in touch with you and the character you're playing in this lifetime. When we start to do this, we start to have more awareness around who we are. And when we bring in an awareness around who we are and how we feel about certain situations and certain people, certain things in our life, this is when we start to understand what we truly value. This is when we start to break away from the conditioning of the world. This is when we start to recognize and say, wow, I really can acknowledge my emotions. My emotions actually really are valuable because they tell me about me. They tell me about who I really am. And then when you get to this place, then you can start to evaluate, wow, this is so interesting. And you're not coming at it from a place of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I felt this way. I shouldn't have felt this way. I should have done this and this and this and whatever. And no. That is like not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to just bring in awareness. It's just to bring in a different level of consciousness for yourself. Because in order to make those shifts in our life of living a more fulfilled and purposeful life, where we want deeper connections with the people in our life that we love and cherish the most, when we want to be able to accept ourselves and all of ourselves, these are the things that we have to do for ourselves so that we can start to live more of a conscious life. instead of unconsciously, reacting and being in the program, being in the matrix. This is when you start to separate yourself from the programming, from the conditioning, from the matrix. So I'm just going to go over the 3 steps again, just to review. So in order to use your emotions as tools of your awareness, number 1, pay attention. Number 2, curiosity, the energy of curiosity. Wow, why am I feeling like this? This is so interesting. What does this say about me? Number 3, identify the emotions and the stimulus. And take notes. Carry a notebook and a journal around with you and start to be the scientist in this life of yours. Because once you start getting awareness around this is when you can start making shifts in your life. This is when you start to understand, oh, this is who I am. I thought I was like this over here. Everybody told me this for so long. But I'm not really. Maybe there's parts of me that are like that, but wow, I'm seeing a whole new, different pieces of myself that I haven't acknowledged before. So I hope that you found value in this. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know by sharing this as well too. So you can share this with anybody who needs it. You guys, this is critical information for living a more fulfilled life, more purposeful life, and more of a life of mastering our mission in this lifetime. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time. Thank you for joining me on today's show. To learn more about Activate Your Life podcast and my YouTube channel, just go to erinnesser.com. If you want to learn how to activate your 2021, join the Activate 2021 Masterclass at erinnesser.com/activation-masterclass. Download the free gift at erinnesser.com/healthy-boundaries. That is all for now. We'll see you next week.